afternoon. It is, I almost said Friday. This is Jenny. Welcome to Teach It Tuesday, about a minute ahead of time. So I am going to give everybody about a minute or so, and I'm going to look for myself on my Facebook page so I can. Actually, I got to do that too. Mute my computer so I don't. Let's see, I am live, so I don't mute. No, let me rephrase that. I needed to mute my computer so that we don't get feedback. And right now I'm looking for myself so I can see comments. But it is Tuesday afternoon. Welcome to There I Am. Let me expand this. And we'll give it another minute or so. It's 4 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon, July 9th. So, all right, it's 4 o'clock. Thank you so much. I repeated myself. Hi, Shannon. Welcome to Teach It Tuesday with Tammy and Jenny. And this is the Jenny side of it. Hi, Patty. So, the reason I'm here. Oh my goodness, I have to reset. All right, let's go ahead and reset. It's Teach It Tuesday with Tammy and Jenny, and I hope you were able to join my friend Tammy this morning on her Facebook page, Cards by TLC, and she went on at 11 a.m. Pacific time, and I am Jenny Fetz with Stampin' with Jen, and I'm going at 4 o'clock this afternoon, and we welcome you and enjoy having you join us for these fun days. Today we are working on fun folds. Tammy did a really great step card fun fold. You'll have to check it out. If you would like to, you can always head over to her Facebook business page or YouTube channel or blog. I have all that information that will be posted on my blog tomorrow, and so you can link over to it if you can't find it. But anyway, I'm rambling, and it's, believe it or not, you'd think you wouldn't be rambling because it's not as hot today. We didn't have to turn our AC on until about 2 hours ago, which is probably about 8 or 9 hours ahead of when we turned it on the last couple times. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get started with our fun fold. And let me show you what we're doing. I tend to like the easier things. I'm going to get fancy next time we do a fun fold, but this is a fun that I saw on Pinterest, and I thought, oh, I really like it. And I didn't have a name, so I gave it a name. And this is what I'm going to call is the split front fun fold, because it is the front of the card split as such. And I'm going to be using the Mediterranean Blossoms DSP. I'm going to be doing a little heat embossing, and I'm looking forward to showing this to you. So let's go ahead and we'll put it off to the side. Hi, Tammy, welcome. And let's see what I'm going to be using. And I have almost everything pre-cut because I didn't want to spend forever fussy cutting on my my things. So my orange blossoms. So we're going to use, that's the orange blossoms that's going on the front of our card. This is the scrap of Night of Navy that we'll be using to do our heat embossing of the sentiment that's on the front. And then, you know what, I think I don't have the dimensions written down here. They're in my little book that I keep all of my fun folds and all my information in. So you will get those. I'll have them on my blog tomorrow. But anyway, sorry. So the card base is a 8.5 by 5.5, and we're going to score that at 4 1/4. Do that. There's a little something on that one. 4 1/4. So move my cutting blade out of the way so I don't accidentally cut my paper. I'm going to score that and fold it just so we can see the score line a little bit. But this is where we're going to get the split. What you're going to do is you're going to take the card base and then turn it so it's going vertical, and you're going to go to 1 3/4. Let me make sure. Yep, that's about it. 1 3/4. I want to make sure my Yeah, 1 3/4. Because I don't, like I said, I don't have the notes written down here. For some reason, I didn't write them down. And then you're going to take your cutting blades and you're going to move it down to where these arrows, let me see if I can pick up my cutting board. You know what? I'm going to do it without the paper so I don't accidentally cut. But if you look at your cutting trimmer, you have an arrow here, but you also have lines here and here that go vertical or horizontal. And what you're going to do is you're going to line your score mark up with that. So just line it up right up there. And then you're going to cut down. And what that does is it gives you a nice, smooth cut, a nice straight cut, rather than trying to cut it with a pair of scissors or drawing a line and then trying to cut it. And then you don't have any of the mess that goes with that. So we're going to slice at 1 3/4 to the left, from the left. And we're going to put our scoreboard away, our quartz trimmer away, so we don't need that anymore. And the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to fold that over and burnish it so we have a little bit smoother to work with. And I've already cut our paper, so this is 1 3/4 by 4 1/4. So what this is this one is actually 4 by 1 1/2. And then our DSP that's going on that is actually going to be, I don't have where's my ruler? Oh, there's my ruler. Our DSP is actually going to be, let's see, 3 3/4, sorry, and by 1 1/4. And this is 4 by 1 1/2. So it gives you a quarter inch. Oh, thank you, Tammy. Yeah, I was a little nervous when I was doing it, but it went much easier than I thought it would. So what I'm going to do first, before I glue this down, is I'm going to glue this piece here, get attached. And I think what I'm going to use is my Stampin' Seal. Excuse my reach. It's been a strange afternoon, so I don't have everything as set up as I would like it. So we're going to use our Stampin' Seal, and then you're going to fold that down and just rub it a little bit. And so now we have our card this way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attach our piece of DSP to that cardstock, the Night of Navy, and I'm going to use my Tombow for this. Make sure I'm doing everything where you guys can see it. Sometimes I start working on things and I hold them a little bit closer and you can't see what I'm doing. And we center that in there, and then we're going to go ahead and center this piece inside that piece that we folded down, the 1 3/4 by 4 1/4. Put a little bit on there. And so anyway, so is it cooler for everybody else? I know it's cooled down for us. Like I said earlier, we finally turned on the AC at 2 o'clock this afternoon. We've gone days and days without turning it off. So it was sort of nice having windows open and everything earlier today. So now we're going to go ahead and put on the inside where's my ruler? We're going to put on the inside for the sentiment on the inside of our card. This piece of DSP is 3 1/2 by 4. So 3 1/2 by 4. We're going to center that right in there. So we'll put some in here. And there we go. Center it. And that's the reason I love Tombow glue, is that I can move it around. I've got a little bit of wiggle room because heaven knows I don't always do well. And we're going to go ahead, and then we have our white cardstock, which is now a 1/4 inch smaller on all sides, or a 1/4 inch smaller, so we can center in there. And it's 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. Like I said, all of these measurements will be on my blog tomorrow. along with the video. So if you're catching this late, you can always go back and rewatch the video on either my YouTube channel, my blog, or on Facebook. The history of that didn't. So we'll put that a little bit, run out, and we'll wipe the glue. So I love these silicone mats because if I get a little glue on them, they come right off. So there's that. We'll stamp the sentiment in a little bit. Let's go ahead and work on the front. Now the front is the Night of Navy is the first layer, and then the second layer is our DSP, and I'm going to see if I think I can, yeah, check that out. I'm one of those ones symmetry that if I can get my DSP so it just looks, it lines up if I was to put them next to each other, but it's separate, it makes me happy. It's my happy place for DSP when I'm lining up DSP. So let's go ahead and put our Night of Navy on there. All right, let's make sure we get the corners, because I'm finding that if I don't get the corners sometimes, they lift up, and we don't want the corners lifting up. So now we'll center it here. All right, so, all right, there we go. And then we're going to center. My fingers are all sticky. The joys of working with, oops, see, I turned it around. There we go. The joys of working Tombow glue. Sometimes you end up with sticky fingers. But anyway, the joys of stamping, the joys of crafting. All right, and center this in here. And if you notice, this DSP is a little bit different. I used a smaller pattern DSP in the sample card, but I love all of this. I love the blues. I love the patterns. I love them on cards. I do watch a lot of HGTV, and they show people putting these patterns on tiles in bathrooms and on backsplashes, and I don't think I could do that. I think it would cause me to get dizzy, and it would mess with my eyesight. So I will stick with this kind of patterns on cards and nothing else. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to attach our DSP. This is from one of the back sides of our paper. Let's see, which back side is it? I think it's the smaller DSP pattern that I was using on the other one. It is. See, this was the smaller DSP pattern that I used, and this is on the back side. And what I did is I fussy cut out one of these, but given the amount of time it took me to fussy cut, I cut it ahead of time so you wouldn't have to sit there and watch me fussy cut. So we're going to put a little glue on here and just sort of get it into, I'll put this on over the gray so you can see. I'm going to get it up into the tips and the corners, but not too much because I don't want glue squirting out all over the place. And then we'll put this. This was a fussy cut I enjoyed. I didn't mind doing because it's big enough and easy to do. So we'll just put that on the center of the card. Now on the pattern, on this pattern specifically, there actually is another large leaf that comes up over here, but what I did is I just cut it along the line of this leaf so that I wouldn't have it hanging out over the card. So now we're going to set that aside so that we can do some heat embossing. Actually, I'll set this aside. Things are falling apart. Sorry about that. We're going to heat emboss. What we're going to use is we're going to use Versamark and our opaque bright white embossing powder and a scratch piece of paper. And let's see, our sentiment. We're using, sentiment is Happy Birthday, and it's from the Something Fancy stamp set. And then we're going to be using the rectangular die from that same Something Fancy die set. So let's go ahead and get started now. I bought my heat gun many years before I started doing Stampin' Up, so it's not a Stampin' Up heat emboss gun or heat gun, but it does the job, and when it dies, I will probably get one of the nice ones from Stampin' Up. So let's go ahead and do this. Now, when you use the Versamark, it's a much thicker, stickier ink, and it's clear. You can sort of see it gives a great one-on-one. If you were to do it on here, that's blurry. But anyway, you could actually, I've seen people use this ink just to give it, oh, you know what I forgot to do? Well, let's see if this works out. If it doesn't, then I'll go back and do it. I forgot to use my embossing buddy to get rid of any oils and stickies and so forth. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see if we can tap it away. Let's see, I'll get a little paintbrush. I've used little paintbrushes to get rid of edges, but I don't know, there's a lot of there. I might just get another scrap of, yeah, I think we're gonna scrap this one. I'm gonna get another scrap of Night of Navy. And then I'll use my embossing buddy on here. And the embossing buddy, what it does is it takes away any oils or anything that's on your cardstock, so that the embossing powder doesn't stick to it. So let's go ahead and get our Versamark and our happy birthday, and we'll put that on here again, right there. And then we're gonna sprinkle some of this on here. Oh, see the difference? You can see a difference in how much, and this is one that I've already brushed stuff off of, some of the embossing powder, and I have almost no embossing powder that I have to brush off of here. So we'll just blow a little bit. And then what I do is I use a paper. Some people use, and I fold it up like this, and I just sort of pour it back into our container, and then I cover it up so I don't spill it, because knowing me, I'd spill it. Some people actually have tubs, and I think if I get to the point where I have enough of this to put in a tub, then I'll probably do that. But a lot of them, I think they have, 2 or 3 bottles of the embossing powder in their tub, but that's people who do a lot of heat embossing. And I don't do a lot of heat embossing, although this new embossing powder is so great, and I love that it works, and the results from it, that I might do more heat embossing. So we're gonna just heat emboss, and if you watch, you can see everything's turned solid and looks sort of raised. There we go. All done. Go ahead and set that aside. I'm gonna wave it a little bit, and I think, let's see, make sure I didn't miss any comments. All right, still with me? All right, I'm gonna cool this down a little bit, because I want to make sure the embossing powder that is melted is not sticky, because I'll be now I'll be putting it through a cut and emboss machine. We're gonna die cut this. So we're gonna do that, and I forgot to bring over my little gun. Let me grab my little one. All right, here we go. I have my Boho Blue small Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And we're gonna go ahead and use this. Hopefully this will fit through. A fun tip, they highly recommend for your mini ones that you go ahead and the sandwich, to make it easier with through, is do an E. And what I have learned with my small one, what I do is I line up the first plate, and then I put the number 2 for the cutting plate right below it, and then I'll put what I'm embossing on top, and then let's see, I don't have, this is what happens when you last minute. My Post-its, I forgot my Post-its to hold, and I left my drawers open, so I'm running into drawers. Sorry about that, folks. We'll go ahead and put this, we'll attach it to secure it to the thing, and then I line up the 2 over the 1. So now I've got a sandwich that looks like an E. It's offset a little bit, and that's what I'll run through the machine. So let's go ahead and run this through the machine. And I apologize if it wiggles the table. I was hoping that having the small machine, it wouldn't wiggle the table. And it doesn't seem to be wiggling it too much. Yay! All right. All right, let's set this down on the floor. And then we'll take out our happy birthday. And there's our, oh, it's crooked. Oh my. Well, I don't know. It gives it, you know what? Oh, I know what we'll do. We'll find a couple little embellishments and we'll zhuzh it up a little bit more. So now I'm going to take some mini Stampin' Dimensionals and put these on here. Just put them across so it pops it up a little bit, gives it a little dimension. Yeah, we just need 3. We'll take this off. Alrighty. And then we'll go across here, and I think what we're going to do is I'm going to find a couple of embellishment gems. Let's see. What do I want? No, not the pearls. Not the... You know what? We're going to go with my favorite, the rhinestones. We're going to put 2 very tiny rhinestones on here. Rhinestones? Wait a minute. Do I have something else that will work? You know what? I have something else that will work. I'm going to use the Boho Blue because one of the colors, and actually the main color for our card base is Boho Blue. So I'm going to use the 2325 in color opaque gems. And we're going to go ahead and they got a little sparkle to them. We're going to put one here. And we're going to put one right up there. And that'll help out a little bit with the crooked happy birthday. So, and then what we'll do is we're going to use Night of Navy and we're going to use a stamp from, another one from this one's from So Sincere. It says, hope your day is a happy one. And we're going to go ahead and stamp it in the center on the inside of our card. I don't know why I'm having a hard time with words today, but I am. So we'll tap, tap, and center it. And there we go. We have our Fun Fold. It's a split front Fun Fold card using our Mediterranean Blossom Designer Series paper or pattern paper with a birthday card. So, and then a couple of little gems to offset to help the crooked happy birthday. So anyway, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, if you didn't catch Tammy's live this morning, we're partners in crime. And if you didn't catch hers this morning, you can catch it. I will have a link on my blog to hers. And also, she made a point this morning. I went, oh yeah, that's true. If you also go to either one of our YouTube channels, we will have playlists for Teach It Tuesdays where we have linked not only our video, but our partners' video so that you can watch them all there. So in my blog tomorrow, I will have the dimensions for everything, including all of the supplies that I needed for this card. And I will include that as well as links to the video for today. And so go ahead and make this. I would love to see copies or see what you've done if you case this, and you can tag me or hashtag Stampin' with Jen. And I would love to see what your version of this split front card is. So have a great day, and I hope to see you on Friday at my Fun Friday Live. And Tammy also has her Cards by TLC has a live on Thursday mornings at 11. And yeah, so look forward to seeing you. Have a good week. Bye-bye.